Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Money Variable podcast. My name is Marjorie E. Roberts, and I am the founder of the Money Variable, and which is a nonprofit that discusses all things dealing with finances, whether it's investing, whether it's real estate, um, whether it's day trading, learning about trust, estates. We deal with budgeting and different things of that nature. But we tap into the things that impact people in our communities financially. Okay, so tonight is part three of our series. Oh snap! It's about um, what the snap is going on is the actual um, is the actual name of tonight, is what the snap is going on, because there is so much that is happening in our society as of right now when it comes to snap benefits. And I was hoping that the the show that we did last week was going to be the last one concerning SNAP. But, me reviewing the news and actually taking a look at the one big, beautiful bill, as they call it, I wanted to dig a little bit deeper about who is impacted in concerning the actual uh, SNAP changes. And this is just a few of the SNAP changes that are taking place. And according to um, certain reports from the Department of Agriculture, they're going to be making some additional changes when it comes to um, SNAP benefits as well. So what I wanted to do was just kind of go over some information. Again, the reason why we are going over SNAP benefits is because this is something that impacts our community financially. Okay, so this is a financial impact of that happens to our community because of SNAP benefits. And as I was reading the big beautiful bill, actually the section concerning the SNAP benefits, I did learn some information on how they actually go about calculating the benefits for the households. So, and let me start there. So what they do is there's something called the Thrifty Food Plan. Okay, they call it the Thrifty Food Plan. And what it is, the government uses something called the Thrifty Food Plan to decide how much SNAP, or food stamps is what we used to call them, benefits people get. The law says that Thrifty Food Plan is a model grocery list that shows what it costs to feed a family of four, two adults ages 20 to 50, and two kids ages 6 to 11. It must be based on the USDA report, the Thrifty Food Plan for 2021, and future updates. Now, this is something that I wasn't aware of this. I wasn't aware of how they actually calculated those particular benefits when it comes to SNAP. But one thing that I did uh, recognize is some of the major changes and that they have made concerning excuse me, SNAP benefits. So they're saying the only things that can be changed now are food prices adjusted to inflation. Okay, special cost adjustments for Hawaii and Alaska, and a full reevaluation will be starting no earlier than 2027. It says the plan cannot be changed to increase benefits unless the law allows it. So basically, now from what I read in the law and the research that I came across was that they will adjust the price based off inflation, but will not increase the benefit amount per se, if that makes sense. They'll increase based on inflation, but not the amount that you can actually receive. So SNAP benefits amounts will be based on household size as they are. But as I stated before, you know, there are certain percentages that they do. A percentage of 4-person benefit, 1 person 30%, 2 people 55%, 3 people 79%, 4 people 100%, 5 people 119%, 6 people 143%, 7 people 158%, 8 people 180%, 9 or more is 22 plus 22 per extra percent, but capped at 200%. So for an example, a household that does not get 1/4 of the person amount, they get 30% of the benefit. So and I know that might be a little challenging to understand, but basically what it's saying is the benefit is going to be lower. Then usually you would get a higher percentage, but now that benefit will be lower concerning that. Okay, so that's concerning the impact and the changes that they have made concerning the SNAP benefits. All right. So also, they have changed the work rule requirements as well. So this is going to impact a lot of people when it comes to their SNAP benefits. Um, so in my research, I wanted to see who will be impacted the most concerning, SNAP benefits. Now, if you guys know anyone who actually is in this arena, who works with the Department of Human Services and actually specializes in SNAP benefits, send me their information so we can have them to actually go over, some of the changes that are being implemented concerning SNAP benefits. But this, for me, this is not my area of expertise. This is based on the research that I have performed, and also, with me actually going in and reading that information within the big beautiful bill. It was a lot of information to read and interpret, but I was able to get a pretty good grasp and understanding of what they are saying is happening. Okay, so we have who will be hurt by these changes to SNAP. Single adults receiving SNAP will be impacted. A 1-person household only gets 30% of the 4-person amount, which is a major reduction from what many single adults currently receive. Okay, so remember, we're going off of the thrifty food plan definition. The thrifty food plan is how they decide how much of benefits that one individual or a family will receive, and that is based off of a family of 4, 2 adults and 2 kids. So that's how the thrifty food plan is designed. Okay. All right. So single people who receive SNAP benefits, it will impact young adults who live alone in receiving benefits, recently unemployed individuals, homeless individuals, people recently leaving abusive relationships, seniors living alone, except for those over 65. Those over 65, they're exempt from the work rules, because there are, excuse me, there have been an implementation on work requirements when it comes to benefits. Okay, so who else it will impact? Low income parents with kids over the age of 14. Work requirements now apply to parents with children 14 or older, even though many teens still require supervision. Okay. All right. So this disproportionately affects, single parent households, whether it's single fathers, single mothers, caregivers who work inconsistent hours, families in rural areas with few job opportunities, low income families who lack transportation. So these changes really impact a good demographic of people. Also, people with mental health issues who are not formally diagnosed. Okay, so they're the ones that are going to be impacted as well. The bill requires medical certification to be exempt from work requirements. This harms individuals who lack documentation, who cannot afford examinations, have untreated trauma, anxiety, or depression, avoid healthcare systems. These individuals may lose SNAP despite them actually having those real barriers. Okay, so we have people living in states that previously relied on SNAP waivers. They changed the SNAP waivers. The SNAP waiver, give me 1 second here. I want to make sure I tell you guys what it is. Okay, so the SNAP waiver was a long-standing option for states to receive waivers based on a lack of sufficient jobs, a provision that many states relied on for nearly 3 decades to protect residents in areas with limited employment opportunities. But under the new law, an area now qualifies for a waiver only if its employment rate exceeds 10%. And the only states that have more flexibility with that is Alaska and Hawaii. And so they're granted separate provisions concerning the bill. Okay, so the states that are likely to lose that benefit of the waiver, Mississippi is one that benefited from it. Mississippi, Louisiana, Alabama, Georgia, Michigan, Nevada, West Virginia, and there are many tribal areas as well. Okay, so also communities harmed include unstable job markets, seasonal unemployment, little public transportation, part-time workers unable to meet hourly requirements. Large households are capped at 200% of the 4-person benefit, even if more is needed. So this harms multi-generational household, immigrant families, low-income communities, certain cultural and tribal households as well. So basically, their benefits will not scale with real food needs. So you can have, from what it's saying here, you can have 10 people in the household, but it's only going to cap at 200% of the 4-person benefit. And again, the 4-person benefit is the thrifty food plan. That's how they're basing what you receive on SNAP benefits based off of that plan. I wasn't aware of that until I actually began to research the big beautiful bill and the impacts on SNAP benefits. Okay, so also let me go over the work requirements that they have. Give me 1 second. Okay, so concerning the new SNAP work requirements, you have to spend at least 80 hours a month working, volunteering, or participating in job training. If not, you can only receive benefits for 3 months in a 3-year period. 3 months in a 3-year period. And this applies to adults between the ages of 55 and 64. You see, that's a change between 55 and 64. So they're pushing, this demographic from 55 to 64 back out into the work arena because they were exempt. And now also adults who have children between the ages of 14 and 17 years old, homeless people, veterans, young adults aging out of foster care. Okay. And also in the information that I read on, concerning this issue, it was saying that the SNAP benefits, the amounts can increase. The amount you receive can increase. It can be adjusted for inflation, but not for you to be able to receive an increased amount outside of the inflation adjustment. Okay, so give me just a second. I'm trying to see if I got any questions or anything like that on Facebook. Hold on 1 second. Okay. All right. So I don't questions on Facebook concerning our discussion as of right now, but I'm going to. So I'm going to read some information that I feel will be helpful to this discussion. And I apologize, y'all. I'm getting a little feedback, and I'm not sure where it's coming from. So that's why I keep pausing. Okay, I think I found it. I apologize. I apologize for that. Um, give me 1 second here. As I was looking at my information, I accidentally closed out what I wanted to read to you guys. So SNAP benefit calculations are being tightened. States cannot freely adjust the thrifty food plan. There was a space for them to be able to make the adjustment themselves, but now the law was passed that they're not able to do that anymore. Benefits cannot be raised except for inflation or for Alaska and Hawaii adjustments. Just like I mentioned earlier, the benefits can't be raised except for inflation. So that means you can't get more. So it's not going to benefit any of the households. They're trying to, they're saying that it's because there's so much fraud that's been happening and different things of that nature, but you're going to have fraud in anything. But for the most part, I don't believe that the majority of Americans who are on, SNAP benefits are doing it fraudulently. I don't believe that. It says also that future evaluations cannot increase benefits. So in the law that they passed, again, they put it in the law that benefits cannot be increased. Benefits can't be increased. A law has to be passed in order for benefits to be increased. And the work requirements have become stricter. Fewer people are exempt. States have less flexibility to waive the requirements, have the waiver requirements. Only Alaska and Hawaii can apply for temporary waivers, and only until 2028. Households now receive a fixed percentage of the 4-person benefit. So that's where we are, with in our communities concerning these SNAP benefits. And I am really, really disappointed, and quite frankly upset. I am, because them making provisions that a law has to be passed in order for people to be able to receive more benefits that will actually be able to help them feed their families. A law has to be passed in order for that to happen. And they're talking about making more cuts. More cuts. I am very, very disappointed and upset about it. I am, because I know people who depend on these benefits to be able to live, to be able to provide for their families. I know what that feels like. I know what that feels like. It's very disappointing, and it's just really disappointing. But I do believe that the people have to remember that we have a voice, and that's the reason why voting is so important. And I know that some generations believe that voting doesn't matter. It really does matter, because those people sitting in the Senate and those people sitting in the House are the ones who passed this bill. And those are the people that we voted for directly. We voted for them directly. We did that. Now, I didn't vote for the people who passed this legislation. I'm sorry, who passed this law. But this is what we have. But I said that to say this: Your vote matters. We need people who care about people, not people who care about profit. And right now, we got a lot of people who care about profit and not about the people. So that's all I have to say on tonight. If I'm able to get someone to come and shed more light on this, again, like I said, this is not my area of expertise, but this is what I read in the law itself and the research that I have done. So if you know anyone who actually specializes in this particular arena of dealing with benefits for individuals, and they want to come on and kind of give a breakdown even further of the changes, please have them to contact me. Well, I appreciate you guys so very much for watching me here on the Money Variable podcast. We do have the Money Variable website, which will be dropping soon. It'll be in January. So the website will be up in January. We will have the announcement of our board members in January for the actual Money Variable nonprofit. And I just want to thank you guys for joining me on tonight. And I will see you next Friday. And you can watch this on YouTube. You can watch the replays on all major podcast outlets. Thank you guys so much. I appreciate you. Have a great night.